What is going on, guys? It's the MaD Dragon, round 3 of the Six Nations, just around the corner, which means, of course, we need to go over our fantasy team for round 3. Who's getting into the squad? Go over some thoughts and a bit of logic behind it, which hasn't really paid off for me so far. If you've been following the results on Monday's video, the Superbru Fantasy's been doing really well for me. I've been doing okay over there. Doing the official one, though, and just not getting my captain picks right has costed me quite a bit. My super subs haven't been going my way. But let's dive into round 3 and go over some thoughts on what I'm thinking. So let's, as we always do, let's just purge the team from last week. My risk didn't pay off last week. I went for a lot of Italian backs last week. And was not the way to do it because Italy just really stuck it up between the forwards and then just went for the 3 points. Took a risk, didn't pay off for me. So round 3, I don't know, we got to go for a bigger risk. I guess that's what we're working with at the minute. So let's decide where we want to go for this one. So the game's going on this week. Wales going up against Ireland, England going up against Scotland, and Italy going up against France. Now, from those games for me, I've got an Ireland win against Wales. I certainly think France are up for a win against Italy, even though France lost last week and Italy won last week. And the performance for France had a lot of things going wrong for them, and Italy were just doing what they needed to do to win. I certainly see France bouncing back from that and getting on top of it. So for me, I'm looking at France and Ireland as the main two teams going into this round. England versus Scotland is a fun one because the Calcutta Cup always so interesting. Scotland do turn it up a notch for the Calcutta Cup, and they have done over recent years. This is the first year on the channel where I'm a bit more 50-50 on how I think that one's going to go. So I'm going to leave that one till last. Let's start out then with the team I'm probably most confident in having a good game. It's probably going to be Ireland for me this week. Let me move my search filters over to Ireland, go through some of my Irish players, because I've already got a bit of a thing in mind of who I want to go for with these guys. So on the wings, James Lowe's a lot. He's 18.3, but I think James Lowe is a real solid bet for this week. So James Lowe going to take over one of my wings. The centre department, Bundy Archie. Not been scoring well. Not been scoring well in the fantasy for me. He's up there for his points, but I've really not been super duper impressed with Bundy Archie as he's been going his way along. So the centre partnerships, the way the Ireland seem to have been working, they've really been favouring the outside centre in every single game. Last week it was Bundy Archie going alongside Henshaw, and Henshaw was doing a lot more. This weekend, Henshaw's moved into 12. Gary Ringrose is in at 13. I'm going to go for Gary Ringrose in at my 13 shirt and hope they keep on that outside centre. The Wales centre partnership, totally different this week as well. We don't really know what we're going up against, but I'm favouring that Irish centre partnership. I certainly think halfback partnership-wise, you could also look at Ireland. Prendergast or James Gibson-Park, I think could be some good picks in there as well. I'm going to look further down though towards the back row. Someone that's going for me that I think might be flying under people's radars because Caelan Doris is now out. Jack Conan coming in here as a number 8, and also only 13 stars. You know, you compare it to like the 18, 19s of some of the places. 13 stars coming in there for Jack Conan as a number 8, I think will be good. And then the boy, I just don't feel like you can sleep on in this fantasy because he always turns up. He is starting. He's also captain this week. Is Dan Sheehan. And with being captain and getting to play probably a good chunk of the game, I mean, I'm certainly expecting him to be on for 50 minutes, but he could even be on a little bit longer than them for Dan Sheehan's capability as well as captain as well. So that's going to be my 4 Irish contingent that's going to go in there. Next, we're going to look at France. Let's go over to the backs for France because I certainly think France will do well. Someone that has just been on top form for me has been Louis Bielbiaré. I've got to stick with him. Atasogbe's on the right-hand wing. Damien Pinot not playing this week. Ramos is also playing 10 going in for France, which is makes that call slightly more interesting of how you want to go about it, because you could go for Ramos for his kicking, because I'm certainly thinking France will get a lot of kicks, but playing at 10, Ramos doesn't necessarily score as many other points for like meters made. So I'm actually thinking I might have a look at the new fullback coming in, which is Barre is coming in. I know it says they're not playing. I've literally just seen the team announcers. I know who's playing, even if the official Six Nations hasn't quite caught up to it yet. So I'm going to go for my double French backs and go for James Lowe as my third. How am I doing on stars so far? 143. That sounds like a lot, but I've still got a lot of positions to fill in. Moving down then, scrum half. Scrum half is France. Dupont could be a great pick here, going up against Italy. Certainly going to be more room to it. Let's put him in for now and having a look at it. The trickier thing with the French team is they've gone for a 7-1 split on the bench, and 7 forwards can be good because it means they're probably going to keep the ball with amongst the forwards, but it also means minutes played 7 of these forwards isn't going to be a lot because they've got a lot of substitutes to come on, keep the fresh legs, and also means that the backs might not get utilised as much if they're just planning on going through the forwards. It can be your own toss-up on how you think France are going to go about that game plan for me. I want to try and get a French sort of player in this area as well. I kind of want to get a French back rower in. And once again, we're looking at it's Francois Cross-Boudouin or Gregory Aldrit. Greg Aldrit's certainly the guy you want to be getting in there, right? Okay, the game is catching up. That's why it's causing some issues. The players have now got their green flags on. It's going to change as we go, and I've jumped the gun a bit with picking my team. Greg Aldrit is now 19.1. Ooh, it's a tasty old price. I'm up to 100 stars left. Getting a little bit tricky to go in there. That's my 4 Irish and 4 French players in. Looking elsewhere, then we're going to be looking at Scottish. I mean, Hugh Jones is certainly going to be someone to look at, but I feel like he's going to be expensive. 17.7 is an awful lot. Let's put him in for now, and we'll have a rethink of this as we go through. In the fly half position, I think you could be looking at, like I said, Prendergast could be a big pick here. You could also be looking at Finn Russell or Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith's going to be back playing at fullback. Who could certainly be another good pick in there. Let's try and pick Marcus Smith. Now we're on to 70. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're getting a little bit tight for the old stars now as we're going down. Let's have a look then at some props and try and work out what we want to do there. I'm thinking maybe trying to find some cheaper options of props. So like Will Stewart for England, I think could be an interesting pick in there. I'm kind of leaning towards England, I guess. That's not my intention to do, but that's sort of where I'm leaning at here. In your lock department, again, I feel like I might favour... I've still got a back rower to fill out there as well. That's tricky to do. I think Ben Earl could be a good pick there. Ben Earl is out there on 20.7 stars. It might be a little bit too much, so I'm going to go for Jack Dempsey from Scotland in order to try and keep some lower prices in there as well. Lock department's tricky because I'm basically looking at going England versus Scotland. You know, if you get this call wrong, it's probably going to go exactly the other way. That's the Scottish contenders, Grant Gilchrist and Johnny Gray. Johnny Gray's only 10. I'm tempted to go for a Johnny Gray there purely because he's the cheaper option. He's not by much, to be fair. Could go for Grant Gilchrist, but Grant Gilchrist occasionally just give away a few penalties and what have you. Let's put Johnny Gray in there. What about props? How are props looking? I feel like Xander Ferguson and Schoeman are both going to be pretty expensive. Pierre Schoeman is actually 12.9. I might put him in there for now. Let me quickly have a look at, I think Ellis Genge is probably going to be a lot more. I've already got Will Stewart in there as well. I feel like Ellis Genge is probably going to be a lot more. Yeah, Genge there is 14.1. It's not that much more than Schoeman. I could go double English prop potentially. But it would be, sort of resigning myself to that. You've then got to go for the Scottish lock out in that area as well. Who do we think is going to win the scrums, England or Scotland? You know what? I'm actually going to go for Genge in my prop department, which is going to leave me with picking one last player for the lock department, and then there I'm going to go for Maro Itoje to be able to seal that one out. Now that is a complete team. I'm down to 2.4 stars, and that is not leaving me enough with a super sub. So I might need to do some mixing it up here to try and find some stars in order to get somebody else into the team as well. Okay, it took some rejigging, but I have managed to eventually get the points to work how I want. I've had to drop a couple players, which I'm not happy about. We'll get into it now. So, in my back three, then, we have Barry and James Lowe will be still staying in my back three. I've had to get rid of Louis Bielbiaré for Atis Sogbe. I don't want to do that because I think Bielbiaré has been brilliant so far, but just for the convenience of getting points is the stars rather. I've got to go Atis Sogbe. Let's hope France have a good right-wing game. I've been able to keep my double outside centre partnership there of Ringrose and Hugh Jones, so I'm happy with that. Marcus Smith in at 10, Dupont at 9. Lorenzo Canoni comes in for Gregory Aldrit because I wanted to free up a Frenchman to get in for my super sub. So Lorenzo Canoni comes in, Jack Conan and Jack Dempsey as my 3 number 8s to fill out the back row. Johnny Gray and Ollie Chesham comes in to replace Maro Itoje at lock department. Again, currency is holding me back, so that's what I've got to go with. Ollie Chesham comes in there to free that one up. And then Will Stewart and Ellis Genge just props. Dan Sheehan as my hooker. And then coming in as my new super sub, Julien Marchand coming on. 7-1 split on the bench for France. Surely The forwards have got to come on in that second half and just start dominating. The main guy involved with the maul tries is going to be this man here, Julien Marchand. So, you know what? I'm going to get rid of one of my French picks, which happened to be Gregory Aldrit from the starting lot, in order to get my French replacement hooker in there. Captain-wise, tricky, because I think I'm either looking at going for Atta Sogbe or James Lowe, and it just depends how I think those games are going to go. Do Ireland just go through a lot more kicking because they just want to make sure they get the win over Wales? Does James Lowe have a good game? Does Atta Sogbe suddenly step up? They're up against Italy. You know, there's always a chance they get in there. Italy have also had a change on that wing. Monty Ioane's not playing. Jesse's coming in there as well. Could be a chance for Atta Sogbe to really put that wing under pressure. How do I want to go about it? I'm going French. I've talked myself into it. As much as it's a shame to have not got BL Biarri out on that wing. I'm going to go for Atta Sogbe as my captain. We're going to spin the dice. That's not a turn of phrase, but we're going to go for it anyway. And hopefully it works out. Let me know your picks down in the comment section, guys. Who's your captain? Who's your super sub? I'm sure this isn't going to be the best team of the round. At this point, I'm just throwing everything out the wall. I hope this Marcus Smith's going to do some kicking, and Finn Smith might end up kicking. I think there could be better choices maybe at fly half. Prendergast, huge, Finn Russell, sorry. Could be another one to go in there. You might look at some other different back threes. The French forwards are very hard to grasp with the 7-1 split. But that's what I've gone for. Let me know down in the comment sections any changes you would have made and your own captains. Always enjoy having a read through of the comment sections. And I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye-bye.